Krystal Everdeen, and today I want to share with you how I made the Santa Baby crochet top. And the reason I called it the Santa Baby crochet top is because it reminds me of the outfits that they wore in Mean Girls during their talent show performance. And I did make one of these last year, but it doesn't quite look like the one from Mean Girls, and this year I think I did a better job. So in order to make this project, I used red yarn and no, not white yarn. Instead, I ended up using a white boa instead because I couldn't find yarn that was fluffy enough to, you know, work with this top. But if you can, then you get really fluffy white yarn and you could use that instead. But I ended up just buying a boa for like $2, and I'm just going to sew it on afterwards, and I'm pretty sure it will look good. If you're watching this video, I'm sure it looks good. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't share it online. But per usual, I am making everything up as I go along. However, I believe that this design is going to be very easy. We're just essentially going to make a tube top. So yes, so this is red yarn, 100% acrylic, size 4, and I'm using a size 5mm hook. So let's go ahead and get started. All we're going to do here is make a slip knot, and if you don't know what a slip knot is, if you're a complete beginner to crochet, I do have a crocheting for beginners video linked in the description box below. It will show you how to make a slip knot, how to chain, how to go back on that chain, various stitches. But again, I think that this project is fairly simple. Even if you are a somewhat beginner, as long as you know the basics, you'll be able to follow along. But okay, let's go ahead and get started. So, slip knots, and you're going to chain a number of chains. Everyone's number is going to be different because this chain is going to wrap around your body from one side of your back to the other. However, you are going to leave a little bit of a gap in between because that's what's going to be the lace-up portion of the top. So again, everyone's number of chains is going to be different depending on their size and preference. If they want it to be tighter, if they want it to be a little bit looser, totally depends. But I'll go ahead and let you know how many chains that I make, and I'm typically an extra small or small in shirts, if that helps. So I crocheted 80 chains, and that is enough for it to wrap around my body like I showed you. And this is of course what the project looks like. It's just a chain, and now I'm going to go back on it with a single crochet. And a single crochet is through the stitch, yarn over, back through the stitch, yarn over, and then through the last 2 loops. And yes, I do switch from going yarn over to yarn under sometimes, and I feel like there's absolutely no difference when I do it. Like sometimes I go over and sometimes I go under, and literally it's the same. I get so many questions about that, like, hey, you said yarn over but you actually yarn under, and I'm like, there's literally no difference. So if you see me, you know, switch it up, you could do whatever feels more natural to you. There's not going to be a difference. But yeah, essentially again, it's through the stitch, yarn over or under, and then back through the stitch, yarn over or under, and then back through the last 2 loops left on your hook. And yeah, you're just going to continue single crocheting throughout the entire chain until you get to the very end, and then I'll show you what we do at the end. And when you reach the end, it should look something like this, but you're going to make sure that you go into the very last stitch of the row. Then you're going to chain 1, flip the project over, then go into the very first stitch of the new row, and you're just going to continue on with another row of single crochet until you reach the end of this row, and then you're going to repeat the exact same thing. And that is pretty much what we're going to be doing for the longest time. It's just a simple tube top that we're creating, and then what's going to make it like the Santa Baby design is with the boa or the very fluffy yarn, if you were able to find fluffy yarn that you're happy with. But yeah, I'm just going to show you my progress of me creating rows and rows of single crochet on top of this chain that I created. So yeah, just go ahead and continue making your single crochet until you reach the end, and then I'll show you once again what we do at the end of every row in order for the edges to stay straight. And yeah, I will meet you there. Okay, so I went ahead and created another row of single crochet, and now I am at the very end and the very last stitch of this row. So I'm going to go into the very last stitch and create a single crochet. Then from here I'm going to chain one, flip the project over, then go into the very first stitch of the new row and create a single crochet from there. And then just continue on making more and more single crochets throughout the rest of the row, making sure that I go into every stitch of the previous row. That way the edges could stay nice and straight. So again, as long as you do not skip any stitches throughout and you make sure that you are chaining one at the very end of the row, then your edges should stay straight, and that's exactly what we want. And then you're just going to continue making more and more rows of single crochet until you put the project against yourself as if you're going to wear it and you're happy with the coverage. So I'll go ahead and show you my progress throughout just so you have an idea of what it should look like. And then I'll get back to you once I'm completely done and we could move on to the final steps. So this is my progress so far after a few more rows of single crochet. Again, I am just making sure that I go into every single stitch of each row, including the very last stitch of the row, then chaining one, flipping the project over, and then going into the very first stitch of the new row. And that's how I keep my edges nice and straight. And from here I'm just going to continue building and building and building until again I wrap the project against myself as if I was going to wear it. Again, you are going to have a bit of a gap in between because that's where we're going to lace up the back. But if you wanted to, you could have also made a chain that was long enough to completely wrap around your body so it could be solid in the back. However, I would not recommend it because it is very difficult to get in and out of tops that do not have some sort of adjustable straps. So that's why I went for the corset-like lace up back, so I could easily loosen it and tighten it and get in and out of it whenever I want to. But yeah, that is the plan so far. Just continue making rows and rows of single crochet, going through the stitch, yarning over, going back through the stitch, yarning over, then going through the last two loops left on your hook. And I will go ahead and catch up with you after a few more rows. Here's my progress so far. Probably need to triple this. So I'm going to keep on making rows and rows of single crochet. And again, all I do is try it on as if I were going to wear it, and then once I am happy with the length, then I know I can move on to the next step. Okay, so after many rows, I put the project against myself, and I like the coverage. Mine is going to be a crop top, so if you want yours to be longer, you just keep on going, and yours could be like way longer. If you want yours to be a little bandeau, it could be shorter. Totally up to you. Again, just put it against yourself, and once you're happy with the coverage, then we can move on to the next step, which is to make the straps. So I went ahead and already crocheted my way to where I want my strap to be, and how I figure out where I want my strap to be is, again, I just put it against myself and then kind of pinpoint where I want the straps to be, and then I put my hook through the stitch. Like say if this was where I wanted my strap to be, I put the hook through the stitch, and then I stretch it out so that I know like this is the stitch that I want to make my strap on. But I went ahead and did that over here. So this is where I want my strap to be. And once you figure out where you want your strap to be, you're just going to start off from where you left off, wherever you know you left off once you're happy with the size of your project. And you're going to single crochet to that spot, and then once you're at that spot, you're going to crochet a very long chain, because this is not only going to serve as your neck strap, but also the lace up on the back. So it's going to need to be very, very long. So I'm going to start off with 150 chains, and then I'm going to kind of try it on to see if that's enough, and if it's not, then I'll make more. If it's too much, I'll make less. But I typically just do like 150 chains for this, so I will do that. And if it turns out to be different than 150 chains, then I will let you know. Okay, so 150 chains was probably fine, but to play it safe, I crocheted 5 more, so a total of 155 chains. That way I have enough so that when I wear it, it'll go over my shoulder, across my back, and then also to the top of the back of the top, and then also enough to go back and forth for the lace-up design, and then have some left over. And yeah, so for me it was 155, but if you want to make more, if you want to make less, totally up to you. But after you're done making the chain for your strap, You can either cut the yarn from the yarn ball and then reattach it to where you want your other strap to be, or you can go back on it with a slip stitch, which is what I like to do, not only to make it a little bit thicker and more sturdy, but also so I do not have to cut the yarn from the yarn ball. So yeah, totally up to you. But from here, again, I'm just going to go back on it with a slip stitch, and what a slip stitch is, it's easier than a single crochet. All you have to do is go through the stitch, yarn over, back through the stitch, and then through the loop on the hook. Again, it's just through the stitch, yarn over, back through the stitch, and through the loop on the hook. Through the stitch, yarn over, back through a stitch, through the loop. Through the stitch, yarn over, back through a stitch, through the loop. And I'm just going to continue doing that all the way down the chain until I reach the top again, and then I'm going to single crochet my way over to the next spot where I want my strap to be and do the exact same thing, but I'll go ahead and meet you at the bottom of the strap. Okay, so I have gone down the entire chain with a slip stitch, and now I am back at the top. So from here, I'm just going to slip stitch into the first stitch where the top is, and then I'm going to continue my way over to where I want the second strap to be. So I'm going to continue over with single crochet until I reach where I want my second strap to be, and then I'm going to chain another 155 chains, so that hits the same amount of chains for both straps. And again, all I did to figure out where I want the straps to be is I put it against myself as if I was going to wear it, and then I just indicated where I want the straps to go by putting my hook inside of the stitch and then giving it a tug so that it's bigger than the other stitches, so I know which one I want to go into. So yeah, I'm just going to make my way over and create my second chain. Another good way to figure out where you want to put your second chain to make sure that they're even is folding the project in half and then indicating where this strap, the first strap, was, and then just aligning it so that you go into the stitch that matches it and put your hook through. Make sure that the stitch is nice and big so you know where you want to stop, and then you can make your second strap from here, and then they'll be even on both sides. Okay, so I've completed both straps, and this is what the project looks like. So after I completed the second strap, I went ahead and slip stitched into the top again, and now I'm going to continue finishing off the rest of the row with single crochet, and after that I can cut the yarn from the yarn ball because we're done with the crocheting aspect of it. Unless of course you also got fuzzy white yarn, then you're going to need to crochet a little bit more. But if you got a white boa like me, then you're done with the crocheting aspect. Woo! Well, once you finish this row. But yeah, I will meet you once I'm done with this row and I cut the yarn from the yarn ball, so I can show you how I lace up the top. Actually, should I lace up the top or should I... Oh no, you know what? I'm going to attach the boa first. So let me finish off this row and then I will show you how to attach the boa. Okay, so I have finished off the row. I'm going to detach the yarn from the yarn ball, then bring the excess yarn through the last loop and give it a tug. Then I'm going to tuck it in a little bit, like so, just so it's kind of out of the way. And now I'm going to attach the boa like this. I'm going to measure it out, make sure that I cut the right spot. So I grab my scissors, I'm going to cut the boa right over here so that it's aligned with the top. And now we have a perfectly fitted boa for the top here. I'm going to grab my needle and thread and I'm going to just start sewing it on. And how I sew it on, I'm just going to hold it in place like this, put my needle through the crochet top, and then I'm going to kind of like loop it around, like you can't see it because it's all white, but loop it around like this so it grabs the boa, and then attach it to the back of the crochet top and then kind of pull it. So there's a big loop that's pulling the boa in and keeping it together. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that twice in the same spot so that it's nice and secure. I keep dropping my needle. So that it's nice and secure in the same area, like this. And now it's nice and attached. I'm just going to continue doing that throughout the entire boa. Whenever I want to move this way, I'm just going to kind of like go in the stitches like this, just so I can move this way without having to constantly be making loops and loops and loops. So I'm just going to go through a couple stitches like that. And then now that I'm over here, I'm going to do the loopy thing again and loop over the boa, go through the back of the top, and attach that portion of the boa now. And now that portion of the boa is attached. Now to move this way, I'm just going to go through the stitches sideways, like that. Oop, ripped off some of the boa. And then I'm going to do the loopy thing around the boa twice for extra security. Then I'm going to move this way by going through those stitches again, sideways, like that. And then do the loopy thing. And I'm just going to continue doing that all throughout the top here. Okay, so I went ahead and finished sewing the boa on top of the top, and this is what it looks like. Super cute. I wish the boa was a little bit thicker. I think that if it was just like down to here, it would look so cute. But yeah, overall I think it's adorable, and now all you need to do is flip it over and lace it up. You're going to grab one strap, bring it on over to the opposite side, and then attach it to the top portion of the back of the top. And you're just going to bring it through with your hook like so. And then once it's all through, you're going to grab that same strap and bring it on over to the opposite side of where you are, and then kind of attach it to like the top middle portion. So we're going to be attaching it to the top middle portion, and then the opposite side, the middle, and then the bottom middle portion, and then the bottom. So that's where we're going to be attaching everything to. So wherever you think will look good, that's where you attach it. So I'm just going to continue bringing my hook through various points of the back of the top and bringing over the strap. Sometimes they're easier than others, and if it's too difficult to bring through, I just kind of choose a new spot. Man, this one is really giving me trouble. There we go. And now I'm going to bring it on over to the bottom middle, so I'm around here, and bring it on through. Then I'm going to attach it to the very bottom now, right down here. And here we go. Voila! So this is what it looks like when only one strap is attached, like this. Man, the lighting is so weird today. It's a cloudy day. It's a little bit windy, and the tree is blocking the sun, and then the clouds are blocking the sun. So if you see the lighting fluctuate, like right now, that's the reason why. But yeah, so after you're done with one strap, you're going to do the exact same thing with the other strap. So you're going to grab the strap, bring it on over to the opposite side, and then attach it to the top portion of the back of the top. Bring it on through with your hook, like so. Oops, make sure that there's still some, length left for your actual like neck and back portion. That's why I leave these up here. Try to make it even, perfect. And now I'm going to bring it on over to the opposite side and attach it to the top middle, like this. And then I'm going to attach it to the middle portion of the top. Just kind of try to align it with the opposite side so it's nice and even. And then from here, I'm going to attach it to the bottom middle portion, right here. And then Lastly, I'm going to attach it to the bottom of the top, right around here. And once this goes through, then we are completely done lacing up the back portion of the top. Woo, and it looks super cute. And now it's nice and adjustable. You can get in and out of it way easier than if this was a solid top. But yeah, so that's how we lace it up. And I just realized that I told you that I was going to lace it up after I added the boa, but then I went ahead and laced it up before I added the boa. Well, that is the tutorial for how to lace it up after we put the boa on. So I'm actually going to unlace it and then add the boa. Or maybe I could add it right now. I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, so it's probably going to be easier for you if you do not lace it first. And yeah, so this is what the back looks like. And this is the front. It's super duper cute. And now you're completely done with your Santa baby top. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Found this either interesting, entertaining, or helpful, and can make your very own Santa baby top. And if you do and you decided to post it on Instagram, TikTok, or anywhere, be sure to tag me at Krystal Everdeen, and also follow me on Instagram and TikTok, also at Krystal Everdeen. It's a fun time. Thank you so much again for watching. If you love crochet tutorials, I have a ton of them on my channel, ranging from beginner friendly to a bit more advanced. But yeah, just go ahead and check out the rest of my channel. I have a couple of crochet playlists that you could watch. And of course, do not forget to click that red subscribe button if you have not already, so I can see you next time. Bye, and have a magical day.
These days, under the sun together. These days, let's make them last forever. These days, let's hope they last forever.